So we're going to start with some questions, and then we're going, if you have some tricky questions as well, let us know. So first, you all have been in the industry for a long time and seen the different waves of the trends. In fact, you have actively shaped the industry. What do you think has survived until today and what not? Я переведу. Вы были в индустрии очень много времени и видели очень много разных трендов, которые изменили нашу индустрию. Что вы думаете уже сохранилось до сих пор, а что ушло окончательно?
Первый тренд: выживают только самые сильные, которые стараются, которые пытаются внести в нашу индустрию что-то новое.
The first trend is actually the strongest one is survived, who can bring something new to our industry.
Я думаю, что никогда не нужно останавливаться на том, что вы имеете сейчас.
I think you should never stop on what you have right now.
Потому что завтра рядом появится конкурент, который сделает лучше, чем вы.
Because tomorrow you will have a competitor who will do it better than you.
И, к моему сожалению, очень много звезд по Aimea на данный момент уже не работают так, как раньше.
And unfortunately, many stars of Romanian makeup, they don't work the same way like we did before.
При мне появилось очень много звезд перманента, а те, кто были раньше звездами, как-то не сильно заметны уже стали, потому что остановились на одном месте.
Because now you have so many new stars, and the one who you had before, it's not a stars anymore because they stop and stop growing. Thank you.
Спасибо.
Спасибо большое. Please, good applause to Sviatoslav. Straight to the point as always. And now we're going to Joern Kluge, please.
Yeah, so is there a trend? I agree with Sviato. There's not one trend. There's not one product. It's a passion and it's a love for the industry that survives over time. And this is what always will be there, because we are here for the passion, of course. We want also to make money, but we're here for the passion. And this is what drives innovation. For us, it's innovation, it's quality, and long-term perspective, and a successful future. That's what drives us, and I think that's what we all have in common. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Passion. Again, you see, we hear so much about passion, about love, and this is truly what drives our industry. So, now Francesca, you will speak with your father's voice, or how it's going to work?
Yeah, as always, you know, he's going to speak in Italian, and I'm going to translate it in English for you guys.
Let's do it.
Yes, because I don't speak English.
You know, in Italy we don't need.
Allora la domanda era che cosa è sopravvissuto ai vecchi tempi?
See, so the question was what has remained from the old time of permanent makeup and what has changed nowadays.
Basically, the question, yes, it was so, you've been for a long time in the industry and see the different waves of trends. In fact, what actively shaped the industry? So what do you think has survived until today and what changed?
Beh, allora, una delle cose che sono sopravvissute sono io.
One of the things that has survived is me.
Oh ragazzi, l'anno prossimo sono 68 gli anni.
Oh, guys, next year I will be 68.
Dopodiché, a 40 anni di differenza, di distanza, mi rendo conto che ancora non avete capito la differenza tra un pigmento organico e uno inorganico.
Another thing that hasn't changed is that 40 years after, from, you know, when he started working in the industry, I still realize that, guys, we still have a problem. You still didn't understand the difference between organic pigments and inorganic pigments.
So, ma detto questo, che era per scherzare,
with this said, and of course I'm joking,
ma neanche poi tanto,
but not so much.
Poi se volete in un altro congresso parliamo dei pigmenti.
And maybe in another conference, if you invite me, I can tell you more about pigments.
Sì, ma la mia relazione dura 2 giorni.
Yeah, but my speech will last for 2 days, non-stop.
Non-stop, esatto.
So true.
Siamo tornati indietro 40 anni fa.
I think we are actually moving backwards, actually.
Si usavano macchine che erano dotate di un ago che oggi chiamiamo da agopuntura.
So 40 years ago, people used to use machines that were equipped with a one-point needle, but not in a cartridge, like with the tip, like an acupuncture needle.
E le compagnie europee, italiane in particolare come Biotek, negli ultimi 3 anni di pandemia hanno investito qualche milione di euro per fare stabilimenti nuovi.
And actually, the companies today, like for example Biotek, in the last 3 years we have invested millions of euros to create, to improve our factory productions.
Dotandosi di macchine automatiche, robotiche, che consentono di fare una produzione in grande quantità che ci permette di avere dei prezzi sempre più competitivi sulle cartucce.
Okay, so what we invested on, we equipped our factory with some automatic machines and robotic stations able to create automatically, basically, huge quantities of products, but for a cheaper price, right? So being able to create a lot of cartridges for a cheap price.
Ma vista l'ultima tendenza della nuova, vecchia richiesta di avere macchine che usano l'ago da agopuntura, convertiremo le macchine nella produzione di cucine.
But since the latest topics I've seen presented here in the Eyebrow Festival, and the latest trends I see being the coming back to the one point, not in a cartridge needle, now maybe we can convert our factory and start creating maybe kitchen furniture from tomorrow.
Ecco, quindi l'evoluzione dell'industria del permanent make-up oggi è allo stesso bivio a cui era Ennio Orsini prima, ma quel bivio lo potete decidere solo voi.
I totally agree with what Ennio Orsini was saying before. I feel the same, that our industry, especially in the permanent makeup, is a little bit at, you know, it's at the fork, and what will be the future of permanent makeup, only you guys can decide.
Se vi interessa la ricerca, lo studio, la tecnologia...
If you are interested... Give me time to translate.
I'm sorry.
If you're interested in research, development, innovation, technology,
allora non può essere l'unica regola quanto costa un prodotto.
then we have to, you know, base our purchases not only on how much the product costs. So the price cannot be the only point.
Quindi io mi auguro per il futuro che il mercato torni a essere più motivato a investire magari 50 centesimi in più a procedura, ma a utilizzare dei prodotti che siano fatti da aziende che investono, che ci danno l'anima e che cercano di fare sempre il miglior prodotto per mettere voi in condizioni di esprimere la vostra arte.
Allora, so you didn't understand when I said give me time to translate.
Okay. Se non sei capace di parlare inglese...
So I really hope for the future that we're going to go back to a period in which professionals are going to be willing to invest 50 cents more per procedure, but investing into high quality products, choosing products manufactured by companies who really work hard in innovation, who really spend a lot of energy and a lot of work day and night for you guys. So. Nothing. Thank you.
Thank you. Very full answer. Thank you, Massimo, as always.
So coming from the tattoo industry my whole life, my father was an old-time tattoo artist and then my brother, the one thing that has never gone out of style is quality and creativity. And what I've seen in just the few short years that Permablend has been in existence is the evolution, even in the few years that we've been here, the evolution of how we manufacture and what the artists are looking for and what they're needing, but agreeing with Francesca that, you know, you guys, cheap is not always the best. You have to invest and use the highest quality and the best that you can purchase, and the safest that you can purchase. So we all strive for that. But definitely quality and creativity, I think, will be always consistent.
Fantastic. What a great answer. Thank you.
So, because I'm the youngest, yeah,
Yeah.
in the business, in the industry, I'm also the last one talking. Well, I represent Clinita. We are not so young because the founder, Rita Molinaro, is doing this business already since more than 30 years. And he's probably one of the tattoo permanent makeup artists who has invested, studied, scientific, publicated the most in this business. He has over 10 scientific publications about permanent makeup, which help our company a lot in creating knowledge about what permanent makeup can do. Because it's art first, we know, this is the most important. Something which is not changing in the years is really the target of our art, which has been always to support, to enhance the beauty of the people, of the lady, okay? So this is something that is not changed. And what is changing, in my opinion, and I thank all the industry masters here because they have really drawn the line and the way to progress. They are inspiring us every day. And for this, I want to say that what is changing at the moment, in our opinion, is really the consequence of this art, the consequence on the health of the people, the consequence of using safe product, quality product. We know much more than what we knew just 6 or 7 years ago, when we start to meet with the European Society of Tattoo and Pigment Research, and something that Massimo too came the last time in Bern, and we have been able to talk about what is the future. We have been able to talk about quality. Also, Joern, yeah, sorry to forget you, but you always send there your colleagues, not you in person, maybe next time. So safety, quality is really something very important, who has to drive our work every day. And last but not least, the ethic part of our business. I mean, beauty is something, but also recovering and regiving the beauty to people who have lost has the same importance for our job. And this is the second part of our business that we should develop. We have seen Eyebrow Festival, it's already 2 editions. They have the championship for areola, the championship for trichopigmentation, and maybe, why not in the future, the championship for camouflage and recovery.
Great answer. Ethic. And we all talk about ethic. It's not just all about profit and income. That's why these brands are here, because we really care about more than just the game. We care about you. And since I don't want you to be last, since you're the youngest one, I would like you to answer the next question first, just to make sure. We all get so many questions from our participants about reach. It's been such a pain in PMUS, we all know that, I'm sorry. How did you survive it? How hard it was for you? How did you manage?
Very difficult. Very difficult. Probably the big fish here had less problem than us. Probably, or not? No, you do not agree. Well, the Clinita survived because of immediately, since we start to work on this norm, because at the beginning the European community has asked our organization the ECTP, European Society on Tattoo and Permanent Makeup Pigments Research, to share some information. We open our hair, you know, and listen. What do they want from us? Where do they want us to go? So we start since the beginning to understand what they were looking from us. So the way that we start very early to think about what the inorganic, what will be the future for the inorganic pigment, what does it mean cobalt, what does it mean nickel, what does it mean these kind of things. We have been able, with a lot of money, to reformulate, to test, because it's already 2 years. Everybody of us is working around this, because before sorting a new product on the market, you have to see what's going on. The formulation maybe is okay from the chemical point of view, but what's happened on the skin? And you need time to understand this one. So this has been the biggest challenge. But as I told you yesterday, Anastasia, the challenge can also become an opportunity. And I was talking also with Anne-Marie, the opportunity to, let's say, try to create something new, something different for a conservative industry like it was our industry since a few years ago. It has been a great, great opportunity.
Thank you very much. I know it was very difficult, and especially for you, and I know I would like you to answer as well. You also spoke about reach with you as well. You also had some experience to share. Thank you, Anna-Marie.
So for us, it was starting almost from the beginning again, because there were so many restrictions, and we had to go back and figure out with all of the banned ingredients, what it was that we can use, but not only changing banned ingredients, but changing the amounts of the ingredient that we can use. And so what Permablend had to do, we hired 4 more chemists, we hired another formulator, as we started testing, we realized that not all the tests were consistent. And so, you know, we were trying to figure out, if the tests aren't consistent, then what? What do we do then? And so we just kept working and working, and like every other manufacturer that's around, with hard work and a lot of time put in, we came to the end result. And you know, I think that the regulations taught us that we can make product better, but they're also sometimes not fair. The regulations are not fair, and so it forced us to create a product that was better, but also it taught us a lot. It taught us a lot about what we do and how we could do it better. So in the long run, the challenge ended up being a lesson for us at Permablend.
Thank you very much. I like the honest replies. This is good. When you really share your honest experience, it's also very inspiring as well. Please, Francesca and Massimo.
Vi presento il capo di Biotek che vi potrà spiegare tutto. Allora, una piccolissima considerazione. Detto che secondo me il REACH è un regolamento da pazzi furiosi.
No, just you know, a quick premise. With being said that REACH is a regulation like for crazy people, like completely out of their mind to be able to reach something like that, and whoever came up with those limits must have been insane in that moment.
Ok, pensate solo che per alcune sostanze ha un limite da 10 a 100 volte più basso rispetto all'analogo limite che viene usato nel settore medicale.
Just think about the fact that some substances in permanent makeup industry or body tattoo inks as well, they have to be between 10 and 100 times less, so it's allowed to use between 10 and 100 times less than a substance in the medical field, like for example injectables, fillers. Okay. You can use more than in the ink. Why?
Cosa abbiamo fatto noi?
So what did Biotek do?
Allora, io credo che solo le aziende che lavorano direttamente con i pigmenti, con le materie prime, possono adattarsi al nuovo regolamento REACH. Tutti gli altri dipendono sostanzialmente da chi li produce.
I think that, okay, it was a struggle. I'm not gonna lie, it was a struggle for all of us, I think. I think it is possible only for the companies that really manufacture the pigments themselves, that really work with the powders every day, that with the raw materials, and they really produce their inks by themselves, to be able to comply with this such a strict regulation. Because all the others, if they're using pre-made inks, then they have no chance to be compliant, because of course they are depending on the quality and the purity of the ink which is given to them.
Comunque noi sapevamo 3 anni fa quali erano i limiti, perché noi italiani, pizza, mafia e mandolino, sapevamo già tutto dalla Commissione europea.
Since, you know, we work with our powders, we manufacture everything from A to Z, from scratch. So what we did is that we knew already 3 years ago REACH was going to come, because we had in-depth information about it. So we started working and running as soon as we knew it. It was full panic, and we started doing all of our researches, and it took a long time, like really a lot of money, a lot of analysis, a lot of nights without sleeping.
Allora, considerate che abbiamo speso qualche cosa come 250.000 euro di analisi.
Just to give you some numbers, we spent around like 250,000 euros in lab analysis, okay? We have a room in Biotek, just a physical room full of papers in which we store all of our lab analysis. It's like, this is how crazy it is right now.
Ecco, ma pensate che tutto questo lavoro che hanno fatto le aziende, sicuramente loro, Clinita, Derm e le aziende più importanti che hanno voluto, non serve assolutamente a niente, perché sapete qual è il problema? Che ogni singolo Stato europeo ha un differente metodo di eseguire le analisi sullo stesso prodotto.
So, you know, all of the huge work that all of the big companies have done, so all of the founders are here speaking today, we all have worked hardly to be able to provide a pigment which is REACH compliant, right? All of this work, it's basically worthless, it's basically useless, because every individual country in Europe has a different method of analysis of the pigment.
Perché questi parassiti che paghiamo noi e teniamo seduti a Bruxelles a fare delle leggi stupidi e inutili, sì, si sono dimenticati con i nostri soldi di stabilire qual è il sistema di analisi per trovare un determinato componente.
So what the problem is that the REACH doesn't say which kind of analysis, like a unified, standardized method of analysis to test the pigment. They didn't say that, they forgot to mention. So there is a bunch of different methods which are all allowed, meaning that every individual country could use a different method and could have a different result. So how do you do with something like this? Like maybe the pigment is compliant with one method and with the other one no. But both of them are allowed, so is the pigment legally okay or no? Who says that?
Ma abbiamo fatto sì, una videoconference con la Commissione europea del REACH.
So maybe you don't know, but there has been like a video conference in which we together with all of the other European manufacturers, with Derm as well, we had like a speech with the European Commission.
Chiedendo quali fossero le analisi tra le migliaia di metodi di analisi.
And we asked several questions to them, because of course we were full of questions, and we asked which kind of methods of analysis are we supposed to use to test if our pigments are okay.
Ci hanno risposto: non è un problema nostro.
They said, oh, you know, this is none of our business.
rivolgetevi alle autorità di ogni singolo paese.
Because every country is going to be able to use the different kind of analysis, whatever they think is the best.
Per cui io dico la linea More Than Ever Biotek è rispondente ai parametri REACH secondo alcuni metodi di analisi che noi abbiamo individuato.
So what I can say about the Biotek line of products, or the More Than Ever line of pigments, is that, yeah, sure, they are compliant. As far as we know, we've tested them with many methods of analysis, they have been compliant, but there is so many other methods we have not checked. Yeah.
E qua si aprirebbe un grosso capitolo, ma non voglio rubare tempo ai miei colleghi.
Please, because, you know, we have to go for dinner soon, you know.
Thank you.
Yes, well, first of all, there was some good news, and that is, I think this applies to all of us. The REACH has boosted our sales. The pigment sales are going through the roof. And why does that happen? Because in the phase of insecurity, you guys, artists, seek for the biggest, the most reliable suppliers. And this is an advantage, first of all, to us. But this also enables us to invest a lot of money into research. Also, we have biochemists. We have 2 additional chemists only working on REACH, only working on the formulation, investing into a clean room, finding different processing methods to avoid certain substances in the pigments. And if I've listened closely to everyone, no one gave a clear, yes, we are REACH compliant. And that's because no one can, 100%. We have been tested 2 times. The authorities came to our office, to our laboratory. They took samples. They didn't find anything, so everyone was fine. Everything was fine. But who knows what they will test tomorrow? There's many, many thousands of substances that are not allowed to be in a pigment. So the question is, where do the authorities put the focus and what do they test tomorrow? Today, it seems like everyone is fine. Everyone sitting here is fine. But we don't know exactly about tomorrow. So I urge you to buy at very serious companies, at very big companies also, that invest into research. Even if there would be one case, you can be sure there's someone to back you up. You're not importing a product from somewhere and you don't know the source, because then the liability is on you guys instead of the big companies that can back you. So I think it's the relationship between you and us to kind of solve that problem of REACH, have still performing pigments that perform well in the skin and are safe. I mean, let's not forget the safety. Safety is much, much more important, and it's partially related to REACH, but it's not everything. Yeah? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Joern.
Sorry, what is REACH?
Yeah, that's a good answer.
I haven't any problem with our colors, because in the Derm work when you do it for us, they can work.
That's a great answer.
My colleagues, I trust all of you will fix this problem very soon. And we will work together, I think.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Well, we're gonna keep it with you, so we're probably gonna go with a great answer. Thank you to them. Sviatoslav is saying. So the next one is all about innovation. What is the future and new trends in innovation? And what is your latest innovation this year, or maybe you plan something big coming soon? Let's go.
My theorem will grow. This is one innovation. My theorem will grow.
It's a great innovation. So yeah, and you are growing.
About innovation, because we create innovation every day. New techniques, new projects, new ideas, everything. All will be good, don't worry.
Sviatoslav, apparently he's a spy, so you see, he actually speaks very amazing English, and just he's in the mood now. Please, Joern.
Yeah, let me start with the history a little bit. We started in 1998, and with permanent makeup. And later on, we added tattooing products with the brand Cheyenne. Who knows the brand Cheyenne? I guess there's, yes?
Oh, no, brand Cheyenne.
So we notice an overlap of the industries because obviously it's a similar technology. So we apply the same ideas, concepts, research into both fields. And we see it's overlapping. And therefore, our attention is how does the pigment go into the skin. And just to name one of the latest innovations, the capillary cartridges, which carry much more pigments inside the tube and also release a more continuous flow to have a really continuous flow into the skin so that you don't run with a dry needle. That's for Aimea. For Artyst, we have a range of 8 different one-point needles. We believe, and this is also one of the future trends in my opinion, individuality of the procedure. No one is using the same technique as someone else, so it requires different tools, not just one tool that fits for all. We need dedicated tools matching your technique that you apply. So there's, for example, the 0.35 millimeter short taper shader, or you have a 0.2 millimeter long taper for lining. So everyone has different desires, and I think this is a responsibility of manufacturer to provide those tools to you. I recently checked an online shop for brushes. It's for painters, for painting artists. And they had indeed 10,000 different brushes that they were offering. So also artists in other fields, they rely on a wide range of products. And this will be the future. And the companies that will meet these requirements in the future, they will be successful and they will continue with the innovation and quality that is needed for the industry. Thank you.
Fantastic. So much innovation for you guys. So we all want to know all secrets now. So Massimo, what is your latest innovation and
No, volevo parlarvi delle nuove macchine, delle nuove tecnologie sugli aghi, ma il mio capo mi ha detto che invece dovrà parlarvi della nuova linea di colori che abbiamo sviluppato.
Thank you. So he said, oh, I wanted to talk to you about machines, needles, a new innovation we're working on, about my boss, which is me. I'm his boss. I told him to cut it short because, you know, he likes to talk longly and profusely. So, allow me to spare just a couple of words about some things that we have been working on for a long time, and it's, you know, I'm a permanent makeup artist. I think that in this round table, maybe only me and Sviato are the only ones who are actually actively doing permanent makeup. So I can actually tell you how happy I am about this new thing we're developing, and actually is launching next week. So you're really the first one here. I'm gonna do a little spoiler. So you're really the first one. I know my IT and marketing department is going to kill me for saying this now, too early. But next week we're going to launch a new line of pigments, which surely is REACH compliant, as much as we can. And we're talking about the eyebrow line of pigments, and this new line is going to be called Rapid Shading. It's so cool, you guys. It's 5 colors for eyebrows, and what changes in comparison to the other line of Biotek pigments, which will remain in production. So this is an add-on to the existing line. This line is specifically for shading, only to achieve this beautiful powder pixel effect that we have seen a lot here on Eyebrow Festival today and yesterday. You know, these very, very transparent kind of eyebrows with all of these nice dots that we all love, and that it looks amazing in pictures, and that we always see on Instagram, and we always think, what the hell? How can they get these beautiful pictures, these beautiful pixels? I struggle every day and I can't get the same. So we developed a line that will help you to get exactly the same, with easy implantation and in a blink of an eye. It's called Rapid because it's super rapid to implant it. So I really hope you're gonna try it out. I'm sure you're gonna love it. That's it.
Thank you. Francesca, you're taking it up to your father. You're the next talker. Great job.
So for Permablend, innovation really getting to the point that we are at now for the regulations and REACH compliance, that was a huge stride for us as a new company. We're very artist driven, and so we really base a lot of what we do on what the artist feedback is. And so we are constantly pushing forward with what artists tell us their needs are. And even with collaborators, you know, they have a dream and they know that they can do a better job and educate the world in a better way. They just need the right product. And so we are always pushing forward in that way. But we've also, Permablend came out with its first pen, and it's called the Perma Pen, and that was, it's a very nice, lightweight pen that is wonderful for artists that are just beginning, that don't want to spend a lot of money. It's $5.79, I think it is, and it's a pen that is good quality. We created it with our sister company, Microview, and for the money and the quality, it's a terrific pen. So the two innovations, I think, for this last year, I would have to say, have been getting to the point we are with REACH and our new Perma Pen.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Can't wait for this innovation.
So, our mission has always been, in very few words, make the life of artist, beautician, and pigmentist, tattoo maker, their life easier. Okay. Of course, in the pigments, we have to work to understand and to maintain the REACH limit, and it's a very huge work to do. From the other point of view, we have two main investments we did in the last years. And one investment we did in cooperation with the University of Copenhagen is to understand how the quality of the needles and the material used is affecting our job, your life, your artistic life. And we discovered a lot of things about the quality and the type of stainless steel used in the needles. So there are different material possible, normally stainless steel, and there are many different grades. Softer, harder, cheaper, more expensive, medical grade, etc. And we, thanks to this cooperation, we are understanding that our work, our healed work is changing a lot because of the material used when producing the needle. And this is one point. The other point is another cooperation we have developed in the last 2 years with probably the biggest and the most effective worldwide micromotor producer. To make the life easier of our customer, we understood that the lowest speed they work, the less they stress the skin, the most pigment is deposited into the skin, and the best job is coming out. With Maxon, our partner in Switzerland, it's already 2 years that we are developing a range of micromotor with special performances and also sizes, which is very difficult because one of the mission of Clinita is to maintain very comfortable the size of the machine, of the pens. We have sorted out last year the first machine using a custom-made micromotor, which is our Joern, a machine that is giving the same performance and power when you are normally used to tattoo at, let's say, speed 120, 130, 140. With this special micromotor developed just for us, we are able to get the same performance with speed of 60, 70, 80. And it's changing totally the life of the artist.
Thank you very much. What a great innovation. You never stop. That's why you're here, because you never stop growing, you never stop innovating. And that's why you're here, because I assume with reach and other changes, all smaller fishes are disappearing, so the big sharks are staying here, which is perfect. And now I want to give opportunity to you guys to ask the question of our vegan strong CEOs. Does anyone have any special question? Steven will make sure we will answer them. Are you all scared?
Okay, so I love our industry and we know that our industry impacts lives, but at the same time we do use so many plastics and so much of that impacts our environment. And in order for us to feel good about our industry, do you guys have any ideas or any visions of maybe stepping a little bit in that world to make it just a little bit more environment friendly, or at least, you know, something like Tom does with the shoes is if they buy a product, we'll plant one tree or plant a seed. Is there anything in your guys' plans or strategy that might want to take you into that step and into that realm?
May I answer? Yeah. You want the answer from somebody in particular, or let me talk about this? Well, first of all, from our point of view, we just get last year a certification, an international certification, about how much we can recycle from our machine. And 98% of our machine and devices and needles has been certified that over 98% can be recycled. But this is not something I say myself, it's something certified. And from the other side, another very important point for our company is that we can say, because it's certified too, that our product, our pigments, in this case, are 100% vegan. We just use, since years, only, for example, kosher glycerin, okay? So, yeah, 2 points that maybe can inspire you in this way.
That's great. You all know our planet. Thank you.
So for Permablend, we are vegan as well, and I have a young nephew that just graduated college and is very excited about the environment, lives in the woods, hikes, and just is passionate about us protecting the planet. I just purchased a puppy, a little Pomeranian, and he wanted me to adopt rather than buy. And so he's very cognizant of the environment, and so he has suggested to us that we need to look at this, and so it has been put on our table, and we are talking about ways that Permablend would be able to be more effective in protecting the environment for sure.
Thank you very much.
Ma allora noi due cose, uno abbiamo cercato di fare gli stabilimenti nuovi con energia rinnovabile.
So two things. First of all, as we said before, we have we have created 2 new factories, and those new factories are supplied with recyclable electricity, like energy. Okay.
E poi in realtà mi era venuta un'idea, quella di farmi restituire da ogni dermopigmentista le cartucce usate, quindi o il boccetto di colore vuoto, no?
So actually, I had an idea once upon a time, like some time ago, in my mind. I was wondering, if we ask to our clients to kind of return the empty bottles of pigments.
Ma in Italia le autorità sanitarie non consentono questa cosa perché, per esempio, gli aghi, le cartucce che sono in plastica, quindi potrebbero essere riciclate, sono...
For example, cartridges or so on. But the problem is that in Italy, the health department, thanks. The health department, yeah, I'm tired. It's the 4th day of the conference, I'm tired as well. I'm ready for the garden. So in Italy, the health department doesn't allow that because actually, you know, there could be contamination and some parts of those items are actually wasted with specific procedures of like a special waste, of recycling them, of handling them. So all of these things are unfortunately impossible for the companies.
Non possiamo piantare gli alberi perché le piantine costano più di una cartuccia.
We cannot plant the trees because actually a tree costs more than a cartridge.
Però usiamo carta riciclata per tutti gli imballi.
But we do use recycled paper.
Penseremo sempre di più all'economia circolare.
And I'm sure we can improve this topic for sure.
Sempre che ce la caviamo col gas quest'inverno.
Yes, only if we're going to survive the winter with the gas problem, you know, in Europe. You agree? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Well, we are all pigs. Yes, we are all environmental pigs. And why? If we look at sustainability, we source plastic material, we process it, and then goes to the waste. The waste is a problem in permanent makeup, also in tattoo. Talking about the cartridges. So the thought of recycling is, sorry, but it's a theoretical, you know, look at it, because it's medical waste. Waste is going to be burned. So all of the waste that is made with plastic, with the needles, is going to be burned. So if we want to be sustainable, more sustainable, we have to look at using less plastic and the right plastic. So instead of looking at the waste and recycling side, unfortunately, we need to look at the sourcing side. So we need to source biocompatible but still degradable materials, or degradable in that sense that when it's burned, it doesn't, you know, produce the same pollution as other does. So the most that we can do is on the sourcing side. It's also about reducing packaging material. It's about reducing packaging size for the same packaging. So this is reducing the shipping cost, not shipping by air freight, but by container. You know, these are the things to be more sustainable. But to talk about a completely sustainable industry, unfortunately today, I have to say, is an illusion. We have to do our best, and this is our responsibility to do our best. But there is unfortunately no 100% sustainability unless we start, you know, using needles again, cleaning them, rubbing them, sterilizing them at your studio. That would be a sustainable but not so safe solution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we're all about safety. There's a compromise.
Thank you for your question. But I can't answer because I am not owner of factory. We will ask our factory to create something better.
Perfect. Well, it's in any way, this is MT Derm's responsibility and fault. And just if no one else have any questions, are you brave enough to ask? If yes, let us know. We can. Oh yeah. So please, Simone, if you can just take your microphone. The question about the reach is: what is the punishment? Is it only for EU or it's for United Kingdom as well, for US?
Yeah, so actually REACH is for European countries and the United Kingdom is no longer in Europe. So theoretically they are not subjected to this law. Nonetheless, there is a lot of awareness from people living in the United Kingdom regarding this new regulation. So more and more artists are being, let's say, they're sensitive towards this topic and they're starting to investigate and they're starting to ask if the products are actually REACH compliant, because they perceive that if a product is REACH compliant, then it's safer for the health of the customer. So even though they do not need to comply legally, more and more artists are looking and seeking for products that are actually compliant. And as far as US, you for sure know it better. There is no REACH regulation there. So REACH, we confirm it once again, only for Europe.
And you think it's not going to come to US or some other countries? REACH, as far as you know, it's not something which is going to hit US as well?
the U.S. is not under REACH compliance, but other countries are looking at the regulations and they're adapting their own versions of it. And so each country will end up having their own version of what they want. And so I know we're working with Australia right now to help develop theirs. They've reached out and at least there's that conversation. So that's more than we've had before. And so just being able to have that conversation and talk about realistic results, I think is very helpful. And hopefully other countries will follow that.
Great. And the punishment, what is the numbers for the punishment? I've heard it's some 100,000 euros. Is it true, Joern? Do you know?
Well, I don't know. I don't think anyone has yet had experienced any of that. Yeah, right. So, but you know, it's a risk of all of us, right? It's of us. As long as you buy, you know, from a supplier that is reliable, the risk is on us that are sitting here. We are the responsible person, but we love our business so much. We want to support you. We want to be a family, and we take that risk. And if it comes up, it comes up. But you know, so far it seems like we are all going to manage and go through REACH with very safe pigments, and we are all going to meet the REACH regulations step by step and have safe pigments.
Thank you. I wanted to say that actually we recently, just in the past month, our pigments have been picked up by some authorities in Italy. As you know, what happened, the European system works like that. So basically you sell the pigment to the user happily uses it into her studio, and then one day the authorities shows up to the door, says, okay, what are you using? Show me all. They come, they inspect all of the products, and they take some samples of closed pigments. They take them, they bring them home, they bring them to the lab, they analyze them, and actually our pigments were compliant, so we have tested good. So no fine was given, but they're starting to test, guys. And the fines for the people that are found in their studios for not using, for using products that are not REACH compliant, if there is not if you are the importer. So for example, if you take a product from outside of Europe and they ship it to you they ship it to you from the manufacturer to you. So you as a permanent makeup artist are the importer, okay, from other, I'm not going to say any place in particular, so from any place outside of Europe, and you import it, and that pigment is not REACH compliant, then you as a permanent makeup artist are the responsible person, and fines are between 1,000 to 5,000 euros.
So please ask your question. Thank you for the answer, because not everyone, I got texted all the time and asked this question all the time. So actually, thank you for the honest answer. Please, go ahead.
So, these days we talk a lot about pigments and organic and yes, because in the last few years organic it's more and more used in our field. So already you said you are testing a lot of new lines and you have a lot of innovation and everything, but I would like to know from a technical, like a usual technician. I wonder every time I test something new and I want to work with something new. You all say your products are great, are perfect, but do you test them before you release them with technicians? Do you send them to technicians? I really don't know that. I never heard anyone saying, we tested 100 times or 500 times before releasing, before selling. And of course, if what you are testing to see if they resist more, or maybe the color doesn't change, the heel color, the fresh color. What do you test? What do you try to see? I think it's important to see. And of course, Octenasch, you're not a producer, you are already great, so you don't have to answer. So I know for us.
Firstly, hands, and all will be good. can tell you about my experience. I use many pigments, all of this brand. And many masters tell me something about some pigments. Yeah? One master say, this brand is looking very light up to the hill. No, this is hand not working very well. All pigments is the same. I mean, this brand. But sometimes you need to put more pigments in the skin, yeah? Not 3 passes, 5 passes. Sometimes you need to put 1 passes.
But that means you already answered also for them. No, I want them to answer. Thank you. Yes, but you're right, you're right. I know what you mean. Thank you.
Yeah, well, the artist feedback is the most important in pigment research to develop the color tones. Yeah? So there's the aspect of safety, we've talked a lot about it, and then there's the aspect of performance. And this is where the artists come into play. So all of the pigments, and I probably speak for everyone, are developed in cooperation with artists. We even have artists employed at our company to test products, but of course we test a lot with external artists. We test with the stars, who give us input. And not every color line is the same. We develop different color line for different artists, for different styles. Sometimes regulation kind of delays processes, like in Brazil, for example, we have the Anvisa registration, which kind of makes everything a little bit slower because it takes 2 years to get it. But all of the products, there's 2 things. There's a new color line, which takes super intensive testing, at least a year, if not more, before a pigment line can be released. And then we gather feedback, of course, also for the existing line. It's all gathered and then evaluated, and then it goes into new pigment lines that are released. So I think it's a super intensive collaboration. Yeah.
La direttrice.
Thank you. You want to go first, as I saw you already before. Okay, so I think the question was if we test the products before putting them on the market. Hell yes! A lot! We test them like crazy! We test, I mean, as I said before, I even test them myself. I mean, the majority of, clearly, of the products are developed based on the demands and the feedbacks of the artists. Like maybe you launch a line and then because we are all different, we all have different hands, and we all work in with different kind of skins, and we all want to achieve different results, right? So sometimes one product works great for me, but for you, no, because you want something different from that product. So the aim is to have a huge amount of artists that test your pigments to be able to have like a matching feedback from the market when you will launch that product. I can say that I personally have never launched a product that didn't enthusiasm me 100% myself. And the majority of the innovations we have done in the recent years in Biotek are due to the fact that I am a very critical artist, and I always find something that I would like to improve, and then I exchange, of course, through the networks of artists that work with Biotek worldwide. We exchange opinions. Like, for example, I told you we're launching this new line next week. Well, this line, it's already, many people have it in their pockets, and they are already all testing it out, and they have yield results, and they have yield results after many months, if not 1 year. For example, there is another line of pigment that we are working on, and that is not yet out, and is not going to be released next week, but probably in the near future. And this line is a long-lasting line, so it's a line which lasts very long in the skin, a little bit like a Permablend. And of course, to be able to say it works, we are now waiting for the 2 years and 3 years touch-ups. So this is as long as it gets to test really and deeply a product.
It's really important. We would never put out a product that we just think will work. And so for me, I have about 35 to 40 artists that I'll send a product to. Take the time, let them test it on different skin types and different aged clients, and try to see if it's working in all of that skin type. I can tell you that we were working on a microblade set. I sent it out to artists. The results came back. They were horrible. And so we had to start all over again, and that's the process. And so it's impossible to put out a good product if you're not testing it and you don't know what the end result will be. And time is our friend when it comes to that.
Yeah, from our side, just an example, the first REACH compliant range we sort out on the 1st of January 2022 has been formulated by Rita and the chemist people already at the beginning of 2019. And this lead time between the product in the market and the formulation has been used all for testing. Before, of course, most important, from a chemical point of view, the REACH compliance and so on. But then, of course, we had a very strong team. I hope you have seen this team during these days, who has really worked hard on this. And this is the normal lead time, which I imagine is the same also for the others manufacturers.
Hi everybody. Thank you for being here tonight and providing this wonderful information. I have a question regarding to safe pigment removal. So my perception is that the color is created to implant, but not to remove it safely. So where are you guys at in creating a line of pigment that it can be considered in the long run and specifically for removal, whether it's saline or laser?
Let's get a quick answer, and we all gonna meet soon. Let's go to Clinita, but Joern, please answer.
Yeah. So, all right, he's urging me to do a quick answer, but I disappoint him. You know. No. So I think that it's important. From my perspective, it's important to have a pigment that fades over time. Yeah, so let's say 2-3 years and it somewhat fades. So therefore, you're a little bit more on the safe side. We also notice that there's demand for longer lasting pigment and isolate. This is also great. There's a market for that. But if you want to be on the safe side, that will be somewhat safer. Laser removal is an option, but we have also seen bad results. Also, liquid removal is an option. There also we see bad results, but we also see good results. On everything we see good and bad results. So in any case, wherever you do it with a very reliable, good company. I got 2 bloody noses in my life, and both were on designing a pigment that is removable or that can be switched off. Yeah? We're still working on it, but one concept was with nanopigments that are encapsulated in a PMMA. And the laser would destroy it and they would be absorbed. The other one is the opposite of a Polaroid system. So Polaroid takes colorless pigments and turns them into color. And we are trying the opposite right now, but it already takes 5 years. Maybe in the next 5 to 10 years we will have a solution.
Oh wow, we have to wait a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you for answering.
All right, so that's it. Let's give a round of applause to all of our leaders of the industry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for making the best of the best in PMU and micropigmentation world. And we will see you all at Galatina. And you can ask more questions when we're a little bit more tipsy and we'll give even more to you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Gracias.